but then this ridiculous kind of
Mm.
incompetent and silly side of them at the same time. You know, it's a bit like the Nazis. Do you know, like the Nazis are both like vicious and ridiculous when you look at the old kind of footage, and that's definitely the vibe I got off them. Ties with it in any way, but I understand where they're coming from when they grow up with this siege mentality and they have to defend Israel against all odds.
Yeah, there is a victimization narrative which doesn't fit the reality, and
exactly,
and we have to be very clear on that. That does not mean that there's not, of course, there's good people in all societies. But there's arseholes. There's even, as a man told me yesterday, there's even arseholes in the Palestinian society. You know,
of course, I've met many of them, and you wouldn't have it any other way. And actually, my friend Habib, who works in his cafe in Cork, which is the best cafe ever, he was the first to tell me that. He was just like, buddy, it's lovely what you're doing and stuff, but like, we're not all saints. Just be careful. Like, you know, there's as many will shaft you like as Irish people will shaft you. But anyway, so
the phone goes overboard.
Phones are gone. And I'm now taken to the top of the boat.
Yeah.
He's going through my clothes. He's asking me, do I have any weapons? Then I sit. You're supposed to have your hands like this. I forgot. I just walked up to him just like a normal lad, like as if I'd meeting him on Barrack Street in Cork. And because he was so scared, though, it just felt weird to hold my hands up to a 19-year-old Israeli who was like potentially going to shit his pants. And then we're all just sitting at the edge of the boat. We have what's called a light interception. Some of the other interceptions involved commandos coming on, tie wrapping people, forcing them to sit in the sun, asking them to look towards Tel Aviv, the capital of the Middle East. You know, it just depended on what level of psycho or how many, like what amphetamines the lads had taken before they came on your boat. That's the way it seemed to me. We had a light one. We were told to go downstairs. We could make tea. We fell asleep while they idiotically tried to commandeer the boat and bring it to Ashdod. I think it took them about 12 hours. It should have taken them about 6. And our captain had to come up 2 or 3 times because they were after burning out the engine. They were just hapless kids, like so. And this becomes a theme, right? So there's this sinister, sadistic element to him, absolutely, which I'm going to come face to face with very soon, as soon as I get to Ashdod. But then this ridiculous, kind of incompetent and silly side of them at the same time. You know, it's a bit like the Nazis. You know, like the Nazis are both like vicious and ridiculous when you look at the old kind of footage, and that's definitely the vibe I got off them.
But we've seen that over the course of the genocide, whereby, you know, in videos from the resistance, where people who have the best weapons in the world, like the most highly best technology in terms of killing machines in the world, but they're just kids. And then they come face to face with a guy who's had military training, but is probably wearing a pair of flip flops. But he's more able for the terrain and more able to use it. So there are, and that's not. I abhor all killing, but when I see it in that situation, you're going, this is what you're pushing your own children. I always reminded of the T. Lawrence line where it says, you know, we throw our young people into the fires of Arabia, as he called it, and he meant it. You know, so we see that on that scale, and you came face to face with